giving God the glory worldwide. This is the Gospel America Network. And now it's time for Let's Talk with Lady MJ. And here's your host, Pastor Marcella Jenkins.
Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Talk with Lady MJ. I'm Pastor Marcella Jenkins, and with us today we have Michelle Harrington, who has been in the military for 8 years in the Air Force branch. I'd like to thank you so much for joining us, and I also would like to thank you for your services. We have a very interesting topic today, and that's military ministry versus civilian ministry. I'm getting tongue-tied here, versus civilian ministry. Michelle, can you give us a little bit on that topic?
Sure. Well, basically, there's a different set of needs that military members need as opposed to what civilian members might need, because we have a different lifestyle. So because we're often put in danger and put in places that are away from home and so forth, we have a certain set of needs that we have to be ministered to, where civilians may not understand that. So I think it's very important that we understand the difference between what a military member may need and what a civilian person may need. Everybody needs God, everybody needs Jesus in their life, but it's a different type or a way to minister to different people.
And I can actually see that happening, because at what age did you leave home to go into the military?
I was 18 years old. I graduated from high school, and in June and December I was in the military, and by May of that year, the following year, I was in Japan. So it was in Okinawa, and it was a crazy time.
So you left the comfort of your parents, your home, your teaching, and to now go to serve the country. Now probably, I would imagine, in your home, what was the faith level there before you left your home?
Well, we went to church. I was raised going to Sunday school and catechism and those things, so we knew God in my home. So I knew to go to God when I needed Him for something.
Okay.
So I already knew that, and that was a great thing, because it was definitely needed when I got overseas. At 19 years old, first time away from home, in the military, in a place that I didn't speak the language, I didn't know anybody, and some things happened back at home that I really needed God at that point. I'm all the way in Okinawa, Japan, and I get a phone call saying that my father has cancer. He's getting ready to go into the hospital to get his kidney removed, and you're helpless. You know, if I was stateside, if I was a civilian, I could have just flown home and been there with my parents and with my father through that, but I'm brand new to the military. I have no leave time accrued. Literally, I had to deal with it just on my own from that point.
And I can actually understand that, because at one point in my life I went through a very stressful event, I guess I would say, because I went to church. My grandmother taught me how to pray, and that there was a God. I always questioned, though, how is God going to talk to me? What does God sound like? Back then, I don't think they spent a lot of time. They spent more time preaching than teaching. And some of us need to be actually taught that it's not just knowing that there's a God, it's actually forming a relationship. And I think when you go in the military, this is a very strong thing that we as parents need to give our children, that now we no longer are going to hold our hands, and you don't come to us to say, Mommy, I got a boo-boo or I hurt. You need to be relying on the God that we've been teaching you about. You need to have that personal relationship, because if you're in Japan or Korea, you can't come home when crisis rises.
That's right. And you're stuck.
Like the crisis rose with your father. Okay, what do I do now? I can't go to my mother and hold her hand, and right. I can't touch my father right now. What do I do? Valium is not going to help you. That's what they gave me. The doctor literally gave me Valium to calm me down, but then I'm spaced out. I'm just walking around like a zombie. And like you said, once you come off of that volume fix, the problem still exists.
You can't put a Band-Aid on a broken bone. You put a Band-Aid on a broken bone, that thing is going to keep breaking. It's going to get worse and worse. And what you need is the ultimate healer to heal that broken bone. That Band-Aid's not going to get it.
So what you needed at that time was to know that, okay, God, there's not nothing that I can literally do right now but trust you.
But you can. That's right.
But trust you.
Do anything but fail.
Yes.
I know in this situation, that is what I needed to just bring me some peace. You know, and then I could pray for my dad.
Yes.
You know, and for my mom, who was having to deal with that without me there helping her.
Yes.
So it's a whole bunch of things. People think that your stress is all about you, but you are leaving your family back home, and you can't be there for them either. So the stress is just not, I'm in a land that I don't speak the language. I'm worried now. I've got a little sister that's home without me. You know, I've got family that's home dealing with this without me. My father's getting surgery without me.
So we need, when we go in the military, I'm also hearing on the military side, not just when you're stressed out, and you need to know a person's background. Do they have a relationship with God? And if they do, not only am I going to treat your symptom right now, because sometimes to get your mind back in, if temporarily, but so where do I go? I didn't realize, like you said, you didn't realize that there was a chaplain that you can go to and that could pray with you.
They didn't talk about stuff like that. That's something that I think should be part of every orientation when you get to a new base. I think that's part of it. They show you where the clinic is, and you know where the gym is, you know where the mess hall is, but where's God in this? Like, where can I go and be in his house?
What's so amazing, everybody's so scared to talk about God.
Well, that's another thing. But in the military, that's something that we have to. It's so important, especially as a medic, and being somebody that on the front lines, that if somebody were hurt or something, I may need to pray for that person.
Okay, so we're going to hold that thought for a minute, and we're going to actually go to a commercial break. We'll be right back. This is Let's Talk with Lady MJ.
My name is Travis with Grace Transmissions. Here at Grace Transmissions, we have a reputation for customer service, and we've been serving the San Angelo area for over 45 years. Our focus is you, the customer. So whether you need a diagnostic check or a complete transmission service repair, we're here for you. Grace Transmissions, where service meets quality, and that's our #1 priority.
We are here when you need us.
Gray's Transmissions, 1202 Pulliam Street, San Angelo. A message from Cardiology Associates of West Texas.
Hello, I'm Dr. Milton Leon. I'm a board-certified interventional cardiologist. I have established Cardiology Associates of West Texas over the last 13 years. Cardiovascular services in the patients of San Angelo and the surrounding communities. If you have heart disease, or if you suspect that you may have heart disease, please call our office and one of the board-certified cardiologists will evaluate you. We'll be glad to assist you with any cardiac or vascular problem you may have. It's also important to remember that it's better to prevent heart and vascular disease before it becomes worse.
All banks are not created equal. Whether you need a loan for new home construction or to expand your business, we're large enough to provide you with the professional banking you deserve, yet small enough to treat you as a friend. Our decisions are made right here at home while investing in our community. At Citizens Bank, we treat you as a neighbor, not a number. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Coming to America in a special event of praise and worship. Watoto Children's Choir from Uganda. Don't miss this special event. Tuesday, February 20th, 7:30 p.m. at Christian House of Prayer, 333 Avenue C, San Angelo. Don't miss Watoto, Tuesday, February 20th at 7:30 p.m. Here's a message from the Eagles Wings International Worship Center in San Angelo.
Hello, I'm James Drake. This is my wife, Cassandra Drake, and my son, Corbin. We are here at Eagles Wings International, and this is a beautiful and wonderful church. Y'all should all just bring your family and to worship with us and to be happy and joyful about Jesus Christ.
Join us Sunday mornings at 11 at the Eagles Wings International Worship Center, 718 West Avenue Y in San Angelo.
Welcome back to Let's Talk with Lady MJ. And with us today we have Michelle Harrington. We're talking about military ministry versus civilian ministry. And where we left off at was talking about you were a medical nurse there. And one of the things that I feel as a medical nurse in the military, you see a lot. And you probably have a little bit more responsibility because you're not just operating in one field, you got to cover everything. And with that said, you really have to have God, because if you're out there on the battlefield, or in not exactly on the battlefield, but where the soldiers are coming in that have been wounded, you don't have all the knowledge you need. So, and your emotions and compassion, so the trauma.
So it's very important that that military ministry is there. Whether it's just me telling them, hang on, you got this, or whatever, or I'm praying for you, can I pray for you, or whatever, it doesn't matter. That person needs prayer at that moment.
So getting back to ministering in the military, okay, how can we better understand as a civilian outside? Because not only does it affect the people in the military, but it does come back home. If I have a child that's away in the military, how do I give them the strength that they need?
It's prayer. I mean,
prayer.
Literally, it's prayer. As far as the military goes, a lot of people think, we really need to pray for our soldiers. We need to pray for our airmen. But you need to pray for that airman's wife or that airman's husband. You need to pray for that soldier's mother and their children and their father and their everybody, because they're going to come home a different person, whether they went over there and was a part of a war, or they just were separated from you for 4 years because they went to Korea or whatever. When they come back, it's going to be a different person. And while they're gone, you're becoming a different person because you're learning to live your life without that person. And that's very difficult. So part of military ministry, I think, has to do with staying here and ministering to the wives that are left here when the husband goes over, or the husband that's left here when the wife goes over, because you need that. Because what happens is there's such a huge high divorce rate in the military because of that separation, and the wife resents the husband for going overseas as if he had a choice. I'm over there, she ends up resenting him. He's resenting her because every time he talks to her on the phone, she's stressed out and stressing him out, or she starts crying because she misses him, and now that makes him more stressed out. I don't want to be here any more than you want me to be here, that sort of thing. So that ministry has to go a lot further than just with that military member. It has to go into the families. It has to go into the wives and the kids, and the kids sense it too.
Yeah, I agree with you. You do come back different.
Absolutely.
Because when my daughter left home, and she went in the military older, by like 1920 when she went in, she was very, I got this, and and I don't need, my husband was saying to her, before you leave, let's start running together, so that you can build up your, your body, your strength. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. From what I understand, because actually when she went in the military, she kind of like disowned me, because she felt, because I think that she felt like I was being too strict and whatever. But I understand that when she got there for a month, she cried. Because it was a different environment.
Being in the military, being away from mom and dad, being somewhere where you don't know anybody and you don't know who has your back and who doesn't, that will
Yes.
humble you. That will
Yes.
definitely humble you and bring you down a few notches. And that's why it's so important that you know there is somebody that has your back, and that's God, and He will always be there.
Yeah. So with me, I was just so devastated, I guess, like, you know,
How could she do that?
how can she do that? I want to go hold her because I understand that, you know, it has brought her down. But I see a change now. She's been in for a long time now. But one of the things I see her, and when we talk, she always talks about how she's trusting God more.
You have to.
You know, she talks about how she's reading her Bible. You know, she went through a lot before she went in the military. She had some horrible things to happen to her before she went in the military. And I don't think at all times I was there for her, but I did bring her to church.
That's right.
So when she went in the military, she knew that, hey, I heard about this God. And at some point in time, she turned to God.
So you were there for her. You were there for her by teaching her that whenever I'm not there physically, God's always there. So
Yes.
you introduced her to the person or the entity that's going to take your place when you can't be there,
Yes.
and will always be there.
Yeah, and for all the letdowns that she had before she went in the military, she eventually found that God is not going to let her down.
That's right.
God is not going to judge her. You know, and I think that is so important, and I'm really glad. But getting back to military ministry, you know, as we're talking, I do realize there's a whole different level, you know, and being here in San Angelo, we have people that are here on the base. A lot of people here are in the military, so we have a lot of, you know, teaching to do and praying to do. But we're going to get right back to that thought in 1 minute. It's another time for a commercial break. This is Let's Talk with Lady MJ, and we'll be right back.
My name is Travis with Grace Transmissions. Here at Grace Transmissions, we have a reputation for customer service, and we've been serving the San Angelo area for over 45 years. Our focus is you, the customer. So whether you need a diagnostic check or a complete transmission service repair, we're here for you. Grace Transmissions, where service meets quality, and that's our #1 priority.
We are here when you need us.
Gray's Transmissions, 1202 Pulliam Street, San Angelo. A message from Cardiology Associates of West Texas.
Hello, I'm Dr. Milton Leon. I'm a board-certified interventional cardiologist. I have established Cardiology Associates of West Texas over the last 13 years. Cardiovascular services in the patients of San Angelo and the surrounding communities. If you have heart disease or if you suspect that you may have heart disease, please call our office and one of the board-certified cardiologists will evaluate you. We'll be glad to assist you with any cardiac or vascular problem you may have. It's also important to remember that it's better to prevent heart and vascular disease before it becomes worse.
All banks are not created equal. Whether you need a loan for new home construction or to expand your business, we're large enough to provide you with the professional banking you deserve, yet small enough to treat you as a friend. Our decisions are made right here at home while investing in our community. At Citizens Bank, we treat you as a neighbor, not a number. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Coming to America in a special event of praise and worship. Watoto Children's Choir from Uganda. Don't miss this special event. Tuesday, February 20th, 7:30 p.m. at Christian House of Prayer, 333 Avenue C, San Angelo. Don't miss Watoto, Tuesday, February 20th at 7:30 p.m. Here's a message from the Eagles Wings International Worship Center in San Angelo.
Hello, I'm James Drake. This is my wife, Cassandra Drake, and my son, Corbin. We are here at Eagles Wings International, and this is a beautiful and wonderful church. y'all should all just bring your family and to worship with us and to be happy and joyful about Jesus Christ.
Join us Sunday mornings at 11 at the Eagles Wings International Worship Center, 718 West Avenue Y in San Angelo.
Welcome back to Let's Talk with Lady MJ. And our guest today is Michelle Harrington. And we are talking about military ministry versus civilian ministry. Now, as we are talking and you're saying that, yeah, there is a difference in how we can reach out to the military and minister to them. Right here in San Angelo, we have Goodfellow Air Force Base, and we have a lot of young people coming in on the base and looking for a church. I realize that there is a chaplain on base, but what do you think that you can help out in that area?
So about a year or so ago, God put it on our hearts, my husband and I, that a military ministry was necessary in this area. As you know, my husband is retired. He was 26 years in the Air Force and he's retired.
Wow.
He's also a minister. So the idea that we had was literally to go onto the base, because we both have access to that, go onto the base, and this being a student base, a training base where a lot of young kids, they don't have cars or anything, they're new to the military, literally go onto the base, pick the kids up that wanted to come, or the airmen or soldiers up that want to go and be brought to the church to actually be ministered to. And we would literally go to the base, pick them up, and they wouldn't have to worry about transportation, and let them come to church and get fed spiritually.
I think that is a great idea. And we here at Eagles Wings International Ministries are looking for something to do to reach out to the community. And so, as you were saying, when you're young and you leave your home, you don't have those home-cooked meals anymore. So I think that we could work with you and your husband and bring in a program where we could bring in the people from the military base, and after service have a meal, just so that they can have that home feel. And we really want to get out there and do that. So one of the ways, if you're interested in it, you can give us a call at 325-455-3090. It's right at the bottom of the screen there. Or you can email me, Lady MJ. It's going to be at shepherd2mj@gmail.com to get more information about how to come here on Sunday, and let's worship together, and let's bring that home feel back in with people that have already had that military experience. And I'm not just talking about 4 years experience. Michelle, you had 8 years active duty, and as you said, your husband had 26 years. So we want to bring that family piece back in.
Sure,
Definitely.
I think it's very important. I think that it's crucial. It's necessary.
Yeah. I went away one time, and it wasn't in the military, it's just with me, my job, and I did feel alone. And when one family had me to come to their home, it was in Belgium. They taught me about their traditional, their culture rather, and they actually gave me one of their meals, and I thought that was so good. We also had a young man in our church back in Connecticut that was from, I want to say Barbados, and he was far away from home. He was living with a family that would bring young people over, but the food, he was accustomed to the food.
That's right.
Okay, but he dealt with it very well. He met us, he came to our church, and every Sunday I would cook a home-cooked meal for him, and that made him feel good. And so I can imagine, being away on the base.
It's indescribable, especially, you're new away from home, you're somewhere far away, and you don't have that around you. You don't have that peace or the comfort that your family usually would afford you. It's beyond necessary to have that sort of a thing. And those are those formidable years where if the enemy's going to get you, they're going to get you when you first are the weakest, when you first leave home and you're away from that structure. So it's important that that's when we actually start to really minister to them and let them know that there's somebody else there.
Absolutely. Also, let's find out what they need,
Right.
you know, and talk with them and get a feel, you know, what are you missing? You know, I heard you talk about divorce. That's a high rate of divorce in the military, and I think that's because of loneliness.
And suicide.
Oh my
I feel like
goodness.
there's nowhere else to turn.
Yes.
You know, not that my wife is gone and she's coming back, or my husband's gone, he's coming back, but I don't feel there's anybody there for me. Nothing,
Yeah.
not even God, to the point where I just want to end it.
Yes.
And it's so important that we stop that.
Michelle, I heard you also say that it's important to reach back to the family.
That's right.
Because it's not just about the people in the military. How about if we got, you know, we had military families in, and then we sent cards back to them.
That's right.
And said, you know, your son or your daughter's here with us, and we're so happy that
Or a phone
we could
call.
share. Yes.
A courtesy phone call to a soldier's mother.
Yes.
Or something, just to let them know, you know what, your son's here at church, and
Yes.
he's good, he's in good hands.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about him.
I think that's something. I really like that idea, and I think that's really something that I'm going to talk to Apostle about it, that we should start up, you know, immediately start,
Absolutely.
you know, getting that going. Not just say, you know, we're praying for, like you said, the soldiers. No, we're praying for you and your
Because
family.
everyone's learning how to live without that person.
Yes.
And don't let them feel like they're alone on either side of it, because they're not.
Yes, yes. This really opened my eyes to look at it differently, because I do in my prayers pray for the soldiers, and I have never thought to pray for the families of those soldiers. Yeah, I pray for the families of the soldiers. If I found out that a soldier got hurt or killed, yeah, now I'm praying for the family, but I should be praying all along, not even
You
before
don't
that.
know what's happening.
Yes, yes. And we have someone here in our church that is, her husband's in the military, and she's here, and we did reach out to her mother, and her mother was happy to know that, you know, she was in church. She got baptized. We were able to put it on Facebook, and her mother was really excited. And then when she did have a illness one time, we was able to help her to get help.
That's right.
But it's been so great to have you on the show and share this information. I just want to thank you so much, Michelle, and I'm ready to work with you and your husband to get this information going. Once again, I want to thank you out there, our TV audience, for joining us today with Let's Talk with Lady MJ. See you soon.
Let's talk. What's going on with you? Let's talk. Hear what's on the news. Let's talk. What's happening today? Let's talk with Lady MJ. Let's talk. What's going on with you? Let's talk. Hear what's on the news. Let's talk. What's happening today? Let's talk.
Giving God the glory worldwide. This is the Gospel America Network.